Hi, group. I saw a question in the group that actually I really wanted to answer, and I wanted to do it on video because it's a lot easier than typing this out. So here goes. The question has to do with getting into private practice consulting. Great question, since that's what I do here. So I have a lot of thoughts about this, and I wanted to specifically answer a couple of the questions that were posed in the post. First is, does it need to be a separate business? How do I protect my license? What do I need to charge? Those were the two specific things that were brought up. So I want to kind of talk a little bit about those and kind of my thought process and how I've come to be where I am today. When I first started doing business consulting, it was very much the thing that I did for free for a few friends. And I had to go through this whole thought process and evaluation process to figure out, like, do I want this to be something that I kind of do on the side, or do I want this to be something that's its own business? And I think that's probably the first thing that you want to ask yourself when you're thinking about doing consulting work in terms of the business side of things is this something I'm going to kind of do sometimes, or is this something that I want to make bigger? Is it going to be its own business? And I think that's a really great question, because when we think about adding coaching, often we're thinking about clinically related things. And so if I am doing therapy for a certain kind of problem, but I also want to coach in a, business to consumer way, then we need to separate the businesses, and that's common practice, and that's what's generally recommended. Now, the difference here is that business consulting isn't therapy. It doesn't even look like therapy. It's not, it's hard to confuse it with therapy. And so again, anybody that has a different perspective on this or has different information on this, I'm happy to receive that. But far as I currently understand it, if you are doing consulting to other therapists, it doesn't need to be another business. And what I mean by that is, let's say that you're a specialist in, postpartum anxiety, and someone wants to consult with you on that. You're not making another business for that. It's sort of contained within your experience as a therapist in private practice and all that stuff. And I kind of look at business consulting similarly. Like, it's kind of contained within the business that you already have. Like, it counts. So as long as your contracts and your paperwork and your agreements are good, like as long as you have the documentation to support that it's not therapy, or not like bringing on a therapy client, then I don't see why you can't do it in your same therapy practice. Like, I don't see why you can't do it under that umbrella, as long as it's just something you're kind of doing sometimes. I know a lot of people that do it within the context of their therapy practice because I think it is a safer bet when it comes to like that kind of thing. So that's my 2 cents on that. I ultimately decided to make it a separate business because I wanted it to be bigger. I wanted it to be something else, and I wanted to separate the business liability between my therapy practice and my coaching business. That's a different decision process. And so if you're just starting out and people have asked you to consult on business, I don't see why you can't contain it in your own business that you already have. Again, if there's somebody else who knows something different than me about this, I'm happy to hear it. I always like to expand my knowledge. The second one is what to charge. So much like your therapy, what to charge is going to depend on a lot on like what you need to earn or what you want to earn. But this is the piece I want you to think about when you think about charging for business building activities. And this is something I've had to think really hard about, is that when I'm charging for therapy, I'm charging for a certain they're paying for a certain process. Whereas when I'm delivering business coaching, it's a little bit more outcome oriented, and the goal is to make more money. So for me, it's an investment in your business, which is different than therapy. And so for me, that meant like I am charging for the amalgamation and the collection and the consolidation and simplification of decades of understanding how to run a business, marketing experience on the business end of things, and educating around that, and with the express purpose of helping my clients make better money, more money per hour, increase their business viability, increase their business success. So it is a direct investment in business. It is a tax write-off. And for all of those reasons, I tend to charge, my decision has been to charge more than my therapy rate, because of what goes into it. Um, and so that's kind of where I sit with that. Like, it is for the express purpose of helping somebody else make more money. And so the return on the investment is greater in terms of, like, I'll have people that will do a single coaching session with me. And they were able to recoup that investment on that coaching session with one booking. And they now will forever earn more because of that work we did, that they did with me. And so their return on investment is going to be hundreds, thousands fold over the years. And so I look at it a little bit differently in that way because of what it's purposed for. Couple other last thoughts is make sure you have your terms and conditions outlined. Make sure you have your contracts, your expectations, your disclaimers, like have the paperwork. Buy some paperwork. There are great templates out there. I highly recommend buying them. I have an affiliate link for Artful Contracts on my website. If you're interested in that, that's great. There's also, I recently stumbled across a contracts generating like thing. It's like $30. I can grab the link somewhere. I have to find it. Let me know if you guys want that link. It's a contract generator for service professionals. And it's a one-time fee of $30. So I've heard good things about it. I don't own it yet. I haven't paid for it. Excuse me, lunch. But I've heard good things about it. So that's also available to you if you need to create a contract agreement for this kind of thing. So anyway, that's just a few thoughts. I have a lot more, but I am running out of time and I gotta go see a client. So that's where I'll stop this one. Bye.